Hey everyone, I'm Katie, and today is confession time because I'm going to be talking about the 22 books that I wanted to read in 2022. And did I accomplish that? On to all the books that I tried to read this past year. So I did print out my cute little collage. I'll show you a quick snippet. That's all you're getting, okay? So this honestly is literally the only challenge this entire year that I fell off the wagon. I probably had a good 8 to 10 challenges this year, I think. Yeah, that's about accurate. And I completed all of those. And those are yearly challenges. This one only had 22 books, and I didn't do so great. I probably read about a fourth of these, maybe a fifth. Yeah, I did not read that many. So we're going to go through which ones I read, which ones I didn't. Did I unhaul them? Am I going to read them next year? We're going to talk about everything. Okay, so the first book that I have is Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. I do plan on still trying to read this. I did read like 1-2 chapters maybe, but somebody who I wanted to buddy read with, her like library hold list was crazy. Like I think she's probably still on hold from the beginning of this past year. So I don't know if I'm going to get to this, but I do plan on hopefully getting into it next year. It's not going to go back on my list. I'm actually changing my list a little bit to something a little different, so you'll have to wait until next week to find that out. But yeah, so Frederick Bachman, Anxious People, did not get to it. I do love the cover though. It's really cute. But yeah, so I did not get to this one. All right, the next one on my list was, I have to actually look at my paper, Caroline by Sarah Miller, and this is A Little Woman Revisited. It's all about Caroline Ingalls and how she met Charles and stuff. I did not get to it. I actually unhauled it, but I do plan on, I'd still love to try it, but I just unhauled it because like I was trying to get rid of some books because if you've seen my bookshelves, I'm starting to double stack just a little bit, and I really needed to get rid of some books, and that one was just like, just didn't want to have, I guess, so I'll still read it possibly later on. All right, the next one that I got to was, or didn't get to still, is Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I actually DNF'd this one. Now, I only got in, I would say, not even like a chapter. There's quite a bit of swearing in that first chapter. And yes, like, the swearing could have like died down after that, but I really wasn't invested. It didn't sound like a book that I would be interested in, even though I do love sci-fi books. But, I might pick it up in the future. I don't know, but that's really not on my list of to read right now. And then so I ended up unhauling his other book, which is also on this list, which is Recursion by Blake Crouch. So I ended up unhauling that one as well. Since the other one had quite a bit of language in it, I was like, well, second book probably does too, so I'll just unhaul it. All right, and then I unhauled this one, but I never tried it. I got an advanced reader copy of Dark Rose by Chevy Stevens, and I just wasn't interested in it at the time. When I made the list, I wanted to read it because it was an art copy, and then I just kind of forgot to read it, so I was like, okay, I'm not interested in this book anymore. I've heard pretty good things about it, but I don't know if like there's any swearing or anything in it, because a lot of these are like, there's a mixture of Christian fiction and just mainstream secular fiction, so a lot of these might have swearing in them, so if they did, then I probably would have DNF'd them. This is also kind of a challenge to like get things off my shelf. If I don't like them, or if I don't like the content, then yay, I can unhaul it and have room for more books. All right, and then the next one that I had was Dial A for Aunties by Jessie Q. Sutanto, and I DNF'd this one. I wanted to read this one so badly. The premise sounded so good about 3 aunts who help this girl who her date ends up dying, and they have to hide the body at a wedding, or like the body ends up at a wedding somewhere, and it sounded so good. So like I really want to read it. And I didn't even get like maybe 10 pages in, and there was swearing. There was like inappropriate like wording and stuff. And I was like, this is just like so much. So I was like, nope, we're not going to read that. All right. Next one is finally one that I did finish. I can't talk because I got excited. There's one I finished. All right. So the one that I did finish, I have so many here in my pile, is Formula of Deception by Carrie Stewart Parks. I love the cover. My two favorite colors, green and blue. But I did finish this. I ended up giving it 4 stars, and I did enjoy this one. I think this was my second book by the author that I read. I think. Something like that. Maybe my first. I don't know. So I did finish that one. All right, the next one that I was going to get to was Geekerella by Ashley Poston. And I did not get to this. I still want to, because I don't know if I'm going to like it or not, but the cover is really cute. The lettering's like all shiny and glittery and pretty. So I would like to try it out and see if I like it. If not, then I'll just unhaul it. So for now it's on my shelf, but hopefully I'll get to it next year. And the next one I forgot to grab. Is it up there? No, it's not up there. It's on my signed bookshelf in the other room. But I did finish Jewel of the Nile by Tess Afshar, which was on this list. I gave it 4 stars. I think 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed that one. That one was really good. Loved it. And yeah, I think I remember giving it 4.5 stars. But yes, I absolutely love that one. So that one I did accomplish and finish. All right, the next 2 books that were on my list were these, which I really wanted to read, which was Mountain Laurel and Shiloh by Lori Benton. And I wanted to read these so bad. You've heard me, if you've been here a while, have talked about these constantly, that I want to read them. Have I read them? No. No, I have not read them, and I want to so badly because I got these like right when they were first published last year, and I still haven't read them. So yes, do I still want to read them? 100%. Will I read them? 100%. Just don't know when. I hope to get to them this year. I really would love to get to these because there's only 2 books. I think there's like a novella too, which I hope to get to, but I am dying to read these books, so I hope I can get to them. All right, the next book that I had was Pull Me Under by Kelly Alucci, and I didn't get to this one either. My Goodreads says that I read over 300 books. So what have I been doing this past year? Not reading this list, apparently. Anyway, so yes, I have not read this one, and I do plan on reading it. It's pretty low on my list of books to get to, so hopefully I will at some point. All right, the next book I did read, yay, and that was Tacos for Two by Betsy St. Amant. I was dying to read this one when it came out, so it went on my 22 books to read, and I did read it. I loved it. I gave it 4 stars. So, and the cover is probably, actually this should have been on my favorite covers list. It was just in the other room and I forgot to look. But this is one of my favorite covers of all time. I love it. I love a good animation cover. Animation, is that right? Illustrated. An illustrated cover. I just love it. It's so pretty. I love the florals. Absolutely love it. And yes, so I'm glad I got to read that one at least. All right, and then the next one that I was supposed to get to was Tell Her No Lies by Kelly Irvin, and I did not get to this one, unfortunately. I read at least, I've read at least 1 or 2 of her other books. And so I just didn't get to this one this year, but at least I read some by Kelly Irvin. So I could cross it off just to say, hey, I read a Kelly Irvin, but just not this one. And the cover's really pretty, cotton candy colors. Those are pretty. All right, next book that I was supposed to read was The Island of Sea Woman by Lisa C. And I ended up DNFing in that one as well. And I was really looking forward to this one too, but I can't really remember why I DNF'd it. I think it was kind of talking about like they were heading into like their religion, and it just wasn't something that I was interested in. So I think that's why I DNF'd it. I honestly can't remember because it was in the beginning of the year. It's been a while, but I ended up DNFing that one as well. And then the next one that I was reading was The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. And I really wanted to love it because the cover was gorgeous. The premise of like this apothecary woman who was helping these women like create poisons to murder their husbands or boyfriends or whatever to help them out in situations. Like I think I was almost halfway through the book. I never get that far and DNF a book. Like when I DNF a book, it's usually the first like 25 to 50 pages usually. But this one I was almost halfway through the book and I DNF'd it, and I'll tell you why. So, number one, honestly, it wasn't that interesting. There wasn't a whole lot of action going on as much as I thought there was. But also, right in the middle of the book, this girl was talking about how she could get rid of a ghost in her house, even though it wasn't a ghost, but she was talking about how to get rid of a ghost. And so she is trying to find like this bookstore that has like these dark magic witchcraft book to get rid of ghosts. And I was like, okay, no. So yes, that went straight out the door. I unhauled that one. I was like, we're not reading that. We're not even going to continue it because it wasn't that interesting anyway. So yeah, definitely I would say skip that one. All right, the next one is one that I unhauled, but I actually started to read on ebooks. So I will be trying to continue it because I am enjoying it, and that is The Lost Wife. And of course, I don't have the author's name clearly printed on here. Nope, can't read it. But it's The Lost Wife. I'll put the cover and the author's name on here. But I did not unhaul it because it was kind of an older edition, and so I unhauled it, but then I started reading it on ebook to try to get another one off of my list. And I think I'm about 10% of the way through it, but I am enjoying that one, so I will be continuing to read that one. Next one I did read, which I don't have though, is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, and I did finish it. I actually ended up sending it to a friend of mine, so it's unhauled off my bookshelves, but I ended up, I'm sorry, only giving it 3 stars. It was okay, but I ended up reading like another World War II book that I enjoyed way more in like the same week, and I don't know, I've read quite a bit of World War II historical fiction, and I know what I like and what I don't like, and I don't know, it didn't live up to the hype for me, but I know a ton of people have loved it. I mean, if you look at Goodreads, there's like 1 million reviews on it. It's crazy, but it just wasn't for me. All right, the next one that I really wanted to get to, but didn't again, and that is The Zookeeper's Wife by Diane Ackerman, and I do still want to read this one because I've seen the movie. I love the movie, although it does make me cry, because things happen to the animals in the movie, and animals being hurt make me cry. So, but it is a good movie, and I did want to read it because it's about a husband and wife who live in Poland, and they have a zoo there, and pretty much the German Nazis take over the zoo, and they use the animals for meat. So it's a trigger warning, but yeah, so they're kind of using their zoo to help the Jews cross the border. So it is a good movie, and I really wanted to read the book to see if I liked the book as much as the movie. I'll probably listen to it on audio, so I do plan on still reading it. It is nonfiction, which surprises me that I really want to read it, but I do. So I would like to get this one next year. I think I'll enjoy it. At least I hope so. All right, we're down to the last couple, and the next one that I did read, the last 2 out of the 3 that are left, I've read. All right, the next one that I was going to read is Tuck Everlasting by Natalie Babbitt, and I did read it. I loved it. I ended up giving it 5 stars. Yeah, 5 stars. I loved it. So cute. The movie is one of my favorite movies growing up. One of my dad's too, actually. And so I just love this. I love the sci-fi fantasy, or not sci-fi, fantasy feel of like this family who's immortal, and they come across a girl who one of the boys falls in love with, and they ask her, or the boy asks her to wait like a couple years and take the water that comes from the spring there where they got their immortality, so she can wait for him, but I won't spoil anything. Okay, but yeah, so I really enjoyed it. It's really good. I definitely would like to try more from this author. All right, and then the next book I did not get to, but again, I've talked about so much this year, and man, I can't believe I have not gotten to this. Like, why haven't I just dropped everything and picked up this book? Like, seriously, what's wrong with me? Okay, remind me down in the comments. I want this to be my first book of 2023, okay? And that is Unspoken by Angela Hunt. I want to read this so bad. It has a woman who teaches a gorilla sign language, and the zoo kind of takes away her privileges of taking care of the gorilla, and I'm just this gives me Mighty Joe Young feels. Like I want to read this so bad because it's my favorite movie. I do know a little bit of sign language, so I feel like I would really love this book. I don't know why I'm not dropping everything and reading this book. Somebody tell me why. Because I really want to read it, and I think it's going to be one of my favorites. So remind me, this is going to be my first book of 2023, right on January 1st. If I'm doing reading sprints, whatever I'm doing on January 1st, this is the book I'm going to read, okay? Okay, remind me. All right, and then the last book that I had on my list is one that I read, and that was When Stars Rain Down. I always get this confused with another title. But When Stars Rain Down by Angela Jackson Brown, and I did read this one. I read it, gave it 4 stars, and I really enjoyed it. So we're ending on a high note. So yeah, I can actually count how many I finished. A whopping 6. Wow. But at least I tried 4 other ones and ended up DNFing them. So, I mean, half of the books I did try. So, not bad. I could have done better. Next year, I have a different plan in mind, which you'll see. But yes, so this is the last book that I read. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, those are the books that I finished, partly finished. So I'll show you the books. Some of these I finished, some of these I didn't, but ones that I did quite enjoy, so that's good. These are most of the ones that I wanted to read last year. Didn't quite get to them all. All right, I'll put those down. All right, so anyways, what is one book that you wanted to get to in 2022, but you didn't get to, but you'd like to in 2023? So mine would be this one. But let me know down in the comments what book you are kind of moving from 2022 to 2023 because you just don't have time, or you started it but you don't think you're going to finish until next year. So let me know what book that is. Unspoken by Angela Hunt is mine, and I'm planning it right now, this moment. You all are witnesses, my dear friends. First book of January, this one. Yep. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I'm excited. All right. So thank you for joining me in this video and seeing the chaos of not reading these books, but I read over 300 other books that didn't include this list. So yeah. All right, so I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all tomorrow for the next Bookmas video.